Guys, what's up? If you couldn't tell, I'm driving, so I just shut off my air because it's so loud. If you see me sweating, my bad. I want you to be able to hear me, and I don't really have time in my day otherwise to make a video. I just wanted to make a somewhat informative video that could help people regarding transitioning. The topic I wanted to focus on today was how did I know I was trans? A disclaimer, this is my journey. This is personal to me. It's going to be different for everybody. I understand it's similar for a lot of guys. It's also very different for some guys. I know people that didn't come out until, well, not personally, but I've heard of, transition stories where people didn't come out until they were 60, 70, even 80 years old. In some cases, it's because they weren't sure, they didn't know they were. Some cases, it was because they couldn't safely come out. But either way, it's never okay to judge somebody or say that they're not really trans because of that. If you want respect, you need to give respect too. And I hate among the community. But anyway, for me, I was 3 years old, the first experience that I can remember not feeling right in my body. A lot of people will question me or have questioned me and said, I don't even remember being 3 years old. There's no possible way. How I know it is because I have pictures dating back to when I was 3, probably closer to 4, but still 3 years old. And I remember the exact situation and exactly what I felt during it. Quick story, I was 3, I was at my dad's side of the family's grandparents' house. I didn't see them nearly as often as I saw my mom's side of the family, but it was a known fact that I was a tomboy. I liked boys' clothes, that's what everybody knew. Anyway, my grandparents bought me wicked girly outfit. I think it was like Christmas or something that we were there for, and my mom and them, they made me try it on, and I threw a fit. I got it on, and I just remember thinking, why are they doing this to me? What is this torture about? Anyway, I still, it makes me sad to remember that feeling. But I threw a tantrum, and I was a very good kid. I didn't cry a lot. I didn't throw fits like that, so it was really out of character of me. So I don't know what they didn't understand, but I don't regret anything. I think my life played out the way that it did for a reason. But I remember them telling me, all right, you clearly don't want to wear this. How about this? You can either wear the bottoms or the top to it. And to have this logic as a kid, I was pretty smart. I remember thinking, well, the pants, you can't really see as well. The shirt has frills all over it. It was pink and lacy, and I was like, no. I chose the pants, and I got to wear my white Oshkosh shirt with it. And then I went outside and ran around and did my thing like I do, wearing them, but still not comfortable at all and just feeling really upset. And at that time, I knew I was told that I was a girl, but I didn't understand it. I felt like a boy. My friends were boys. I did boy things. But I was young enough whereas it didn't really matter as much as it did when I got a little bit older. But I have similar stories like that all growing up. I got in trouble at school a lot. It felt like I was in trouble, but I guess that's not what it was. It was more look, you need to wear girls' clothes and stuff. Meetings, my mom had to go to meetings with principals and stuff. It came up my whole entire childhood. If you're more interested, I can dive into those stories more. If you ask me, I can tell you more stories. But for the time's sake, we'll just skip ahead a little bit so you can hear what I have to say as I was growing up. Sorry it's shaking right now. This road sucks. As long as you can hear me, I guess that's what really matters. So by the time I hit middle school, I was still dressing as a boy. I, for the most part, only had friends that were boys, and I did boy things. But then I started getting made fun of. I got made fun of a little bit in elementary school for it, but it got really bad come middle school. So I finally was one day look, I'm just gonna conform because this hurts. Why am I getting made fun of for being myself? And that's not the type of personality I have, so I'm disappointed in myself for conforming. But I dressed girly for high school middle school and part of high school. Not really girly, but like jeans and like a girls era Apostle sweatshirt and stuff. So, I didn't present as male. And then while conforming, I kind of lost sight of who I was. I stopped trying to be what I felt and did what I was supposed to do. So I kind of forgot about I didn't forget, but I put my feelings on the back burner. It wasn't until upper years in high school that I was like, look, I am not okay with this. I'm not happy, and I have the option to be happy. Fuck what everybody is telling me I should be. Fuck making my family happy, because that's what I did. I cared about being who they wanted me to be. And I was like, this isn't right. So I didn't come out as a lesbian, but I presented male, but I didn't know that I could be male, so I wasn't asking people to call me male things or anything, but I got mistaken for a boy a lot, and it felt right. At that time, there was YouTube, and I had come across a lot of YouTube videos about lesbians. I was following all these groups, the Beaver Bunch, like a ton of stuff like that, and I was like, yeah, this feels more right, and everyone just assumed I was a lesbian, but it still didn't feel right, and I didn't know that I could do more searching and figure out what was right, because that's all I knew. But one day, actually, on the Beaver Bunch, there was this guy, Cade. He was a trans guy, and I was like, what is he doing on the Beaver Bunch? These are all lesbians. I did some further, watching his videos and stuff, come to find out he was something called an FTM. That, I Googled it, right, and I read what it was and everything. That was a life-changing moment in time for me, and I'm not even exaggerating. I remember it felt like so many emotions just crashing inside of me. The most happy I remember feeling ever, because there was a thing that was what I felt, and a way for me to be myself, and fear at the same time, because I knew there was no going back at that moment. That was me. That's what I was gonna do, and that fear of telling my family, because I had no other option. That is what I had to do to be happy, and like so many more emotions all at once. But like I said, there was no going back at that moment. Finally, I found freedom and happiness in my own body before I even transitioned, just knowing about it, right? So I came out right away to my best friend. I got a binder, started presenting male, ended up coming out to my sister, and then probably like a year later, after like living a double life, coming out to my mom and the rest of everybody. And yeah, but how I knew I was trans, I knew I was a boy when I was a kid. People told me I was a girl, and it made no sense to me. I was just really confused growing up, like, how am I a boy but being told I'm a girl? I forgot about it when I put it on the back burner, although I always knew I didn't feel right. That moment of knowing transgender was a thing was the second I knew I was trans without question, and I know that's why I felt all those emotions at once. But it's very different for everybody. You have to know yourself. Nobody can tell you that you're trans. Nobody can tell you anything that you are but you. And maybe you have to live in a different identity with a different name, experiment with, he or she or what you call yourself, and until it feels right. For me, it was a given, and I'm sure it's not that easy for everybody, but it's definitely something only you can decide. And all I can say, based on experience, is it will feel right when it's right. And I am so grateful to finally be where I am today. And I've never been happier or felt more right. So that's my story. If you have any questions, I'm always here. Hit me up. I like to talk. And yeah, I hope I answered, part of the question for you. All right, peace.